Hello and welcome back to Bluebird Lane Creations. My name's Tiffany and it's time to get creative, and we're probably getting messy today too, I'm not gonna lie. So I've brought out, this is for the pink and gray journal that we're working on. We last week selected papers together and just kind of ripped to trim them all down to size. And what I want to do today is we're going to use some of this stuff to make these papers a little more individual before we use them, before we sew them into the journal. First, I want to take a minute to thank everybody for returning. I really appreciate you guys doing this journey with me and the comments and participation. I wanted to thank some new folks on the block. Brittany Linger, Laura Kurlovich, and Sandra Kenny. Thank you guys for joining and subscribing to my channel. I certainly appreciate that support. I do want to remind everybody watching that I do have a giveaway going on. It's my journey to 1,000 subscribers, and we last I checked today I was at 950, so we are almost there. There'll be a big drawing. 10 people will win. It's open to international as well, and I'll link that information in the description box below. And let's get started on this project and see how much we can get done today. So let me just show you a little bit of what I brought to work with. I have a couple of rubber stamps. This one is really cool from Tim Holtz. It's just like little, what's this called? Fragments. It almost looks like little chunks of wallpaper. So that's going to be fun to work with. This just has a little bit of script on it. I pulled this one out. This is over in my card making section, but it has this zigzag stitch and this kind of cross stitch here, or X stitch. So I thought we might use some of those. We'll see. It'd be fun to use that and emboss, you know, with gold or something. And then I've got a couple stencils picked out that I thought went with the kit really well. This one is called Crackle, and this one is called Gothic, but it really goes well with this wallpaper, so that kind of ties in there. So those are some of the things. Any ink blending that I'm going to be doing today, I'll be using one of these makeup brushes, and I'm going to be using Distress Oxide Pumice Stone. I don't have all of the Distress inks, so I am going to be using Oxide to get this kind of gray tone on some of the papers. I have my gold embossing powder, my anti-static powder bag, and my Versamark sticky ink that will let us do some embossing. So I have those set out. And I brought out these, and I don't know if we'll use them all, but I wanted to show you what I had. This is Distress Grit Paste in an opaque. This one is Stamperia Mixed Media Art Crackle Paste with mono component. I don't know what mono component is, but it gives a crackled look. It breaks up and kind of crackles. It's really cool. And this one is just texture paste in matte. So the cool thing about these two for sure, well, the texture paste will pick up colors underneath of it and dry matte. The opaque probably won't pick up. It'll give an opaque color like this. So I use press and seal and put it over top and then put my lid on. I find that not only keeps the lid from getting super messy, but also keeps the contents fresher for longer. So if you have trouble with yours drying out, I don't use these every time I craft, so I got that tip somewhere along the way and ran with it. And then I've got a couple little spatulas. You could use an old butter knife or something but these were super cheap on probably Amazon or somewhere. I think it came with like 5 or 6 different styles, and I have no idea what these are individually called, you know, other than like a palette knife maybe, but they're for spreading multimedia. So I don't know. And then we may do some collaging, because maybe we'll just start with that because it's a little more simple, because we have this I want to cover and that. We don't really need to do much to this, but we could. So we'll start with these and see what we can do about getting these things covered. I do want, I'm going to work on this paper bag. Just, well, you know what? I have my glass media mat that I did bring to work on. This is the Tim Holtz, sorry for the noise, the Tim Holtz glass media mat, and I like it because it does offer the ability to wipe it clean, and it's pretty easy to clean too. So we'll get this up here to do some of our work. I have a little I have a little plate with wet wipe on it so that I can wipe my fingers off as we go here. And this is just my little book for doing the gluing on that we are going to stick down on this. So I'm just going to start pulling some things out of my my stash over here. My little like, this was a practice heart on something that I was doing around Valentine's Day. So I wonder if we can just get some of this on there. It's got the pink on it, which is awesome. We'll just, oh, of course I didn't get where's my glue stick? There it is. So we will just start doing this. I like to use my glue stick on a book. That way I can kind of tear the pages off when they get too sticky. Let's see. I'm just kind of pulling out of here things that I think are soft colors that might, you know, might go well with our project. No, which way this bird? Oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, which way is this bird actually sitting here? All right. And on some of these, I will just do a smidge of inking around the edges. I probably won't pick up much ink. Just use what's on my sponges. This is a great way to use up some of your scraps. Just dig through them and look for the things that kind of match. Let's see. It's a little dark. We've got some, oh, here's a cool piece of ledger paper. You can use that in a couple different spots. And that's already got ink, or like that's natural distressing on that side. What we'll probably do is we'll do some of this together, and then I may finish, you know, pages that are similar to it off screen. That way we have time to do some of everything that I kind of showed at the beginning here. My husband's going to be leaving pretty soon to go to the chiropractor. He has been puppy proofing our yard. I think I told you guys on on my last video, but if I didn't, I'm getting our third dachshund. We don't have a name for her yet, but she is a shaded red smooth hair dachshund, and she will be coming home in a couple months. Oops, probably wanted to go this way. We've got a few names on the hopper. We've got, let's see, the name Scarlet. It would be a Scarlett O'Hara play on words for her registered name. Registered name would be Scarlet. Oh, she's gone with the wind. Pretty cute. We've got, I like the name Hennessy. We'd call her Henny for short. My husband likes that one also. And I'm trying to think. We had also been seriously considering the name Mississippi. And the reason that I like that name so much is because it has like so many nicknames. You've got Mississippi, you've got Lil Miss, you've got Missy Misdemeanor, you've got Missy, M-I-S-S-I. You could call her Sippy. There's just so much, and I kind of love it. You know, Little Miss when she's little, and maybe Ole Miss when she's old, like the school Ole Miss. Anyway, which side do I like better? Kind of like that side. So those are the names we're tossing around. If you guys have a name that you like, throw it out in the comments. I'd love to hear it, because we are not set yet. We have not even met her in person. We are meeting her, actually the night that this airs, we'll be meeting her. So that's kind of cool. When this video airs to you guys, that later that night we'll be going. So if you have any name suggestions that you think we should look at, leave them in the comments, because we're going to meet her, and once we see her personality, I think it's gonna come out to us. So let's get a little music page on here. I think, you know, when you don't have animals, or you're like in the process of maybe going to get one day, it's so easy to come up with a name. And then when it's go time, oh, I might have just stuck this down to this page. When it's go time and you've got to actually pick, you know, a name, it gets much harder, because, you know, you got to live with that name for quite possibly up to 20 years or so. I mean, it may not likely go that long, but you never know. I have a 10 and an 11-year-old now. They're both boys. And I think I want more solid pages. Bring in some of this. Yeah, so both my dogs are boys. And we've got a boy cat as well. And I am the only girl in my house, so I am really looking forward to this little princess coming to live with us. I'm pretty excited about it. My husband's also excited. It actually all started as his idea, so but he did say that it's for, you know, that she's for me and that I get to name her. Well, not for, you know what I mean. For our family, but like that I could select her name. So just trying on a few different ones to see. I I do like the name Scarlet, but I feel like there's probably a ton of people who are going to have a red smooth-haired dog named Scarlet. I don't know. But it just seems like it would be a more popular name, and I'd kind of like something, you know, a little unique and special. I think as crafters, you know, we want something outside the box. Get some more of this. This one has, this is piano page is what I've got here. Let's see where I can glue this without it sticking to the book. Let's go this way. Oh, and then there's the getting the house ready for a puppy. You know, you kind of think you're ready for something, and then so my husband has been out. He has been out puppy proofing the fence. So we have, you know, we share fence lines with other neighboring properties. And the wood fence has been fine up to this point, but you know, I have two. Well, they're miniature Dachshunds, but they're full grown. So there's like a little space at the bottom that they could definitely get through if they wanted to. So he's been out there working really hard to make sure that doesn't happen, that our little baby doesn't get out. Someone had made me, where did it go? Where did it go? Someone had made me this from my Junk Journal Junkies, etc. group. And I don't care for this, but it's like faux washi, so I'm going to tear it right there. And use a bit of this. Okay, we'll have to do it over here. That's pretty. I love when you can pull in something that someone has gifted you or sent you a happy mail and get it put into your projects. It just feels better when it's just not sitting in a box to the side or something. Oh, that's upside down. Not sure that it matters, but to me, I would like it right side up. Okay, that's fun. What do we have here? Little piece of doily. Can cover. Okay, come on. Uh-oh. My doily's coming apart. I'll just gingerly pat it in place. Get glue off our fingers so we don't pull it back up. Okay, maybe we can fit the other bit of this down here. There's a little piece of this sticking up. I'm just going to glue that down. This is kind of cool. It's like it's all done on vellum, and there's some stamping and layering of bits and pieces. I'd like to do some faux washi sometime. It is a clever idea. Little bits of stuff are sticking to me. I might even still use that. Try to use as much as I can. Let's see. I can put this one up there somewhere. I'm just going to probably collage this one side together, and then we'll move on to some other things, because I want to make sure we can do a few different things today. Let's see, maybe we just want, yeah, right there. And this one has a tiny bit of that hot pink, but just not enough to worry me. Okay, can we utilize a little bit more of this? Oops, I always tear the wrong direction. One of these days I'm gonna learn. I am attempting to film ahead a little bit because I have, I'm going to be starting a new job. I work part-time right now. I went part-time about a year ago, and basically I'm splitting my job with another gal. Her and I were working full-time together before, and she wanted to go part-time, and I was having an issue where I needed to go part-time. And now I'm thinking of going back full-time, and in doing that, if I were to go full-time where I work, then she would be in a position to potentially not be able to continue working part-time there. So I think, oh, is that too much white? We'll save this one. Anyway, I have accepted a part-time job that will allow me to work from home. So, but for the first 2 weeks, I have to go to training. So from March 14th through, well, the week of March 14th through the week of the 21st, so 2 full weeks, I will be commuting. Here's my schedule. I got to be at work there at like 7:30 in the morning. And that is an hour. It says it's an hour and 10 minutes, but there's traffic, and it's I need to make sure I have at least an hour and a half, I would say. So I got to commute up there for training. Then commute back home after training and go to my regular job, I guess I'll call it my main job, the one that I'll be keeping forever. And so an hour and a half there, work for 4 to 5 hours, an hour and a half home, and then go to my job and work another 4 hours. So I'm trying to film ahead because, as you can imagine, that's not super conducive to also having a filming schedule and being able to promise that I could keep up with it. So I've been working on the side to try to catch an extra filming session here and there so I don't leave anybody wondering where my videos went. The show must go on, and I love doing it, so we'll make sure that it happens. Okay, I need something here. I'm feeling like I want something like that. Might be kind of cool. Ugh. Some of these I edged and some I didn't, but that's okay. We're already at 25 minutes to collage one sheet of paper. Holy smokes. Okay, we're gonna have to, we will move this along here, folks. This is almost done. A couple more little, oh, we might just call that done like that. Okay, so we've collaged one sheet. Let me, before I finish, I'm gonna bring out my little, this is the Bees and Birds and Butterflies sticker anthology book. These are found on Amazon and they're amazing. But I'm wondering if we can't find something awesome to put on here. Let's see. Now, this one does have white edges, but I don't think that bothers me so much. I think I want this one. You know, you could ink around them if you want. But I think because we've got white in this journal that it's not going to matter so much. Let's see, I think we're going to go right about there. And I wonder if we can also find maybe a little birdie or something that has that pink or gray tones in it. Something, I don't like that bird. I mean, it's not that I don't like that bird. I don't like that bird for this page. How about that? Is that too pink? It's a possibility. Let's see. I think the back is mostly, oh, we got butterflies back here. We could do a butterfly if we found the right color. I feel like my eyes are going to pick the one, you know. I know I flipped through here kind of fast. We could put a little bee. I feel like it would need to be kind of a fat bee. All right, well, for heaven's sakes, what are we putting on here, folks? Let's see. Well, sometimes it's just not meant to be. Well, what about one of, let's just take this one. It's kind of got a light and airy color. I'll put it right here by this doily. Now you can always come in and, you know, soften up these edges, or, you know, things with a little color. Like this is that pumice stone, and if I were to pick up, hold on, my book's about to fall on the ground over here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, don't have all this extra space on my desk. But anyway, if you take the gray and just kind of come in lightly, you could soften up the tone of that white for sure. You know, if you're using the gray, it's going to also soften your image a little, but kind of blends it just a tad more so it's not so stark white. Okay, so we've got a collaged page. We'll probably do 2 more of these and the backs off screen because they're going to fold and we want them to, but right now it needs to dry. Let's put some of this stuff back in my scrap box to use later, and we will set this guy aside. Now, let's see, what do we want to do? Actually, you know what? Let's just keep going. Okay, I did a little change of my mind because I thought we can put some of this crackle paste right on top of this. See, it's going to crackle here. Let's add a little bit of this and then set it aside. Why not? So I'll save this because you could reuse this as long as it doesn't get too gunked up. And we'll just take our palette here and grab a little. Now, it doesn't have to go on very thick, but you're going to get different levels. And then I can kind of show you, what this looks like. I'll set it aside to dry, and it's going to crackle a bit. And you want it thick enough to have crackle. Like, if you can see the bottom through it, it's probably not going to crackle in that spot. You want it to be somewhat thick, but not super. You'll see what I'm just trying to like move it around a little bit. Get some different layers and just kind of play around with it. Let's do some up here. I feel like I want just a little bit more in the middle. And maybe a little more in here. Okay, so let's put this lid back on here. And we'll let that dry a little bit. Okay, I'm going to set that aside to dry. I could probably keep playing with it forever, so let's just set that aside to dry. I'm going to use my little wipe here to clean this instead of just, I could get up and wash it, but I didn't want to pause the video. So, okay, clean the desk up just a hair. Set that aside. Okay. I think we should do a little bit of stenciling. Let's see. Let me bring a page out that we could stencil on. Maybe the coffee dyed paper. Let's try those. We might even be able to stencil on this. Be interesting. Let's try that too. Let's try those. We'll stencil a little bit and then we can move to something else. Okay, so I have not used this Crackle Stencil yet, so I kind of want to try that out. I guess I'm in a crackly mood today. Just Crackle Paste and the Crackle Stencil. And I think I'm just going to kind of come in like that. And, because I want this to be a journal page, so, I don't want a ton of, we'll see what the ink looks like. I mean, we can always do more or less, I'm sorry, more or less on the other pages, but we won't be able to take away from this. So let's see if this gray even, how well it shows up. It's going to definitely be pretty subtle. Nope. Yeah, it's gonna, I mean, that looks pretty good. We'll just keep moving with it. It's kind of a hard one to hold into place. You could tape these into place, to be honest. There's also, I have some Pixie spray. Pixie spray is a air adhesive, like a aerosol adhesive, that you spray on the back of your stencil, and it makes it tacky. The only problem is that I have with Pixie spray is that it is a little bit difficult to try to clean off. But I mean, you don't really have to clean it off the back as long as you know which one the front is, and you can use it over and over the same direction and spray it again. But I find it hard to get off. You kind of have to wash things right away, or everything ends up getting dingy and dirty, which some people don't mind and they don't want to do the cleaning, and that's fine. This is pretty. This turns out really, really nice on here. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of staying in the middle of the stencil so that I don't get any more of those hard edges, because I noticed it on that first area that we did. Right here we have a line of the edge, so now I'm staying away from the edge here, just working out of the middle of the stencil. Yeah, it's kind of fun. And we don't have to do both sides. We can just leave it as a... Okay. All right. Let's do another one with this. We won't do a ton, just just a little here and there. Little smattering. Normally I would suggest tapping your ink off to the side, like do here, here, and then come in. But this pumice stone is so light, I'm not even having to do that. If you're using like a really strong color, you might think about it. It's just really soft and pretty. What do you guys think? Okay. We'll leave this one. Maybe let's see what happens here. Now this gray is going to show up a little bit better on something like this. Let's see. I'm probably getting... Okay. Oh, that's cool. That looks really good. We'll just do a little bit here. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. I really like the way that that's turning out, I'm not gonna lie. Just when you have a page, I mean, this page already has texture, it didn't need anything, but it's gonna elevate the project a little bit. It's gonna give it another layer, you know, so you're not hurting it by adding to it. You're taking something out of its original form and making it yours. You're taking ownership, you know, if it turns out or not, and take a chance. Well, that one's pretty cool. Okay, let's do a small cleanup and switch stencils. Let's get this one wiped down a little. Wipe my desk. So this glass media mat really works awesome when it comes to multimedia or watercolor, or I mean, even glue comes off of here really easily, so it's very nice. Silicone mats work great too, and I at times wish I hadn't spent money on this and had got a silicone mat, but it's what I have now, and it's working. So I have so many other things on my list before getting a you know, a silicone mat. Okay, let's give this guy a try. What are we at? 40 minutes? Let's see. Okay, let's see. We already did some stenciling, so instead of showing you more stenciling, let's do something different. Let's do a little embossing. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these Tim Holtz Fragments, and we're going to do some cool embossing here. We are going to have the heat gun going, so I apologize ahead of time. Okay, so let's just try a little one in the corner. Now I'm going to use the anti-static powder tool. It's going to give me a crisper image. It keeps things from going where you don't want them to. And let's just do a corner piece like this. I am going to get my acrylic block. I could do it by hand, but I think my little acrylic block will be fine for these. Okay, we'll just do this little corner and see what happens here. So I like to do my inking this way by turning my stamp up and inking it all up. You tend not to get extra down in the stamp that way. Get this. This is a sticky ink, and so this is going to hold the embossing powder. And we are going to just do one of these corners and see what this looks like. Okay, and embossing powder. Let me think here. Do I have? I'm just going to use this to put my embossing powder on so I can scoop it back into the jar. So, because embossing powder tends to get everywhere. We all know that. And that'll be cool. Little fragments. What a good idea, Tim. You're so clever. No wonder they pay you the big bucks around here. Okay, let me tuck this away and put my embossing stuff back. I gotta heat up my heating tool for about 30 seconds. I'll do it out here in the middle of nowhere so that the sound hopefully is farther away. And when that heats up, let's see. Then we'll bring it up here and take it to our paper. And there the magic is happening. So beautiful. Oh, isn't that cool? Just gave this coffee dyed paper like something special. We could even do another little one up here. I'll take a wipe and just wipe this guy a little. I have stamp cleaner, and I do usually use my stamp cleaner, but I'll probably come back after we're not on the screen anymore. Let me see here which one. Maybe, let's see. I'm trying to find one that's going to look good in this upper corner. This one I thought was going to be it, but it's kind of backwards. Let's see. Is this one too big? Do we want to go big? I feel like it's going to go that way. I think this is too big for my block too, but we're going to do it. Let's just give it a go. Let's use our little anti-static bag. This just helps anything that it's not supposed to stick to, you know, that the embossing powder will fall away and not stick to those things. This is really fun on this coffee dyed paper, and I'll tell you what the extra bonus is. When you heat up coffee dyed paper, it smells delicious. I don't even drink coffee, but I love the smell. Now, if I reached for right here, I reached for a brush because the part of me wanted to kind of like clean off, you know, any excess, like right here. But then I started thinking about it. Those imperfections kind of make it cooler, so I'm gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it. Let me get this open. I just use a big piece of paper to kind of funnel my excess embossing powder back into the little holder. Okay. All right, let's get the heat gun should still be pretty warm. I'll let you guys really see the magic on this. There it goes. Isn't it fun? Embossing is probably one of my favorite things. It's literally what got me hooked into card making was the embossing, the magic. If your paper's ever warping, just hit it from the opposite side for a second. And look at that cool design in there. And then we've got that. So when it's folded, these will, you know, they'll likely be in separate sections, but they'll each have something cool on them to offer up. Okay, let's get my page, and what else do we have? We have, let's check on, I don't think our Crackle Paste is dry enough to be crackling yet. Let's check on it. Yeah, not quite. It is drying, so it's going to get there. And you can heat this with your heating tool. I just didn't want you guys to have to listen to it this whole time. So We're at 50 minutes right now. What if, let's do one more little thing. I thought it would be fun to take like one of these. Let me get this guy out of the way. Well, I guess I'll be doing that after we're done. Okay, I wanted to take one of my little stamps like this and just give it some little stamp kisses. And I have another stamp that I kind of think I want more. I think I'm going to use the Scripty stamp in here. This is kitchen sink stamps. I got this at my local craft store. I didn't order it, so I'm not quite sure where you would order this one from. And I'm going to leave it attached to this backing. Just leave all the stamps in place because I'm just going to kind of use this, and I'll just be using kind of the corner of it. So, and I think I'm going to try to do this with, let's do Walnut Stain because I want it to show up. So we'll just come in here with the Walnut Stain, press it down. Don't have to ink too much of it, but we want, let's see if we can go right here. Yeah, that'll give it a little kick, a little something extra. You want to know something that I learned? I learned that by stamping off of your page, like, not just going up to the edges, but actually stamping off, it pulls your project together more. So I saw that on Gina K. I've learned that from Tim Holtz, even Jennifer McGuire, some of the big names. And they always tell you to stamp off the edges because it makes your paper look better. It makes your project look better. So that's what I do. Try to anyway. It's not always possible, but okay, so that's kind of fun. Let's see, I wonder if we come in here to one of these ones and do a few as well. Fun. I really like the look of that. Okay. And since we're wrapping up here, I'm going to take my palette knife. Let's do one more thing. I have not used either of these, I don't think. Let's see. Let's see what the grit paste. Let's get the grit paste going here and see. I just opened these and put the plastic in for today, so can't say that I've ever really used them. I'm not a messy person. I have a really hard time like just getting out. I know you guys are probably like amateur hour. But I, okay, so there are like little granules in this. That must be why it will be gritty. I know my friend Renee is going to be watching. She's like, I'm so proud of you for multimedia-ing. I just created a word, multimedia-ing. I don't know what this will look like when it dries, but we will tomorrow before we, I'm sorry, not tomorrow, the next Wednesday before we sew this in, we're going to find out, because we'll have to look at it before we fold it up and put it in there. So let's use this little page to really get some going over here. I'm assuming you can make like little waves in it and stuff, like little, just kind of messing it up a little bit, give it some texture. All right, there we go. Grip paste has been applied. I always try to clean my tools off as quickly as possible because I don't want this stuff sticking to it. So I'm going to set this guy somewhere. And get my little microfiber cloth and clean my hands off a little bit. Let's get this guy covered back up. All right, you guys, we did a couple little things, and I'm going to go through and do some more of the same things that we have done together. I'm just going to work on some of these to make the pages a little interesting, and then we'll see. Let me check on this Crackle situation. Oh, would you look at that? Now we'll probably have to glue this thing back down, but look real closely. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's starting to crackle because I can see all the little lines in it that it's splitting. So it's drying, and oh yeah, you could see them right there. You can see all those cracklings happening. So this will turn out cool. That'll be really fun. So we'll check on this next time we meet too, and then hopefully we'll fold these up and sew them to a binding piece. That's the next goal. I'll have some of these done, and we'll get a little further along. All right, thank you guys so much for being here today, and I will see you next on Friday. Friday we'll be getting together again. Not for this, but for something else. All right, guys, have a good day.